What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. More Victory at Seas here for you guys. Today we're going to demonstrate a submarine attack here in some of our friendly sort of blue on blue videos. So by no means, is this designed to be balanced in any way, shape, or form. This is just purely to demonstrate some of the damage that subs could get up to. And again, purely illustrative here. So we're ignoring larger battles at whole and all that stuff. So purely just showing you the damage potential. So we're going to take our trusty Bismarck here. So on the heavy end, right? Because taking out enemy battleships, of course, is a good way to just eliminate, a source of damage that they really have, right? Battleships do quite a bit of work. So, but then also just to demonstrate that, it's not always about, just instantly killing something. So ideally, if the damage goes through, it's just showing you then, how damage really can start stacking, other criticals and stuff like that, how that starts to chain react. Eventually, and hell, maybe we'll get lucky and one-shot it as well. But then when you start factoring in the overall battle in a large game, maybe something like a Bismarck battleship or a battleship equivalent from another nation would already maybe have some damage from earlier in the game, and then you kind of like line up some potential torpedo runs with your subs and other sources of torpedoes to great effect, right? This is where the lighter ships. They're not going to get it done with guns versus the big boys because of just the armor, but where these these devastating, pun intended here, in the case of the torps, devastating weapon systems can be great equalizers. So what we're going to do here, just this hypothetical scenario, Bismarck versus two Type 9 U-boats, and really we're just there to deliver the torpedoes. So we're going to essentially just play it as if it's two whole rounds of them shooting and just seeing what that gets up to as far as the Bismarck goes. So sub 1, it's 4 attack dice, okay, and it's got devastating and slow loading. So slow loading, basically we can't fire in consecutive turns and only fire twice per game, so we'll pretend that there's an intervening turn, but the devastating one is what we really want to show you guys here. So let's do that. So first boat here, let's spread these out a little bit. We're treating it as if it's short range, so even ignore the actual distance though, just to kind of keep it all in frame for you. So we did roll 3 hits here, so get that over there. Now, just to read out devastating for you guys, again, we've covered this in separate videos, but it's exceptionally powerful. So instead of causing 1 point of damage with each successful damage dice roll, which we're about to get to, a devastating weapon will cause an amount of damage equal to what each damage dice actually rolls, regardless of whether it exceeds the armor score or not. So that's why, again, as I said, it's a great equalizer. Because there's no other AP bonus with the torps, and Bismarck has an armor of 6, so it would be pointless if the torps really had a low shot of doing some damage. In addition, if we do get crits, which is always what we're hoping for, we actually can cause crits on 5s or 6s as opposed to just 6s, so torps really can be awesome. And then when we get to the critical table, it's actually potentially even nastier as well. So damage dice here, it's 3 apiece. So again, we're treating the Bismarck as if it's clean, so 102 hull. So this is just purely the actual damage we roll. Apparently, that's how that works. But then crits are on 5s and 6s too. So torps, pretty damn awesome. And certainly, even if you don't outright kill a ship in one shot, you will make your presence felt with torps, which is also a great reason to protect your ships with lighter screens and stuff like that. So hopefully pick off where subs and the like are. So if we're going purely damage as written as the way devastating reads, right? That's 3, 6, 9, 10, 20, 30, 35 damage right off the get-go with 3 crits or chances for crits. So 30 would be 72, 70, then 68. So nastiness. We might not even really need the second sub. So we did all that. 3 chances for crits. Again, 5s and 6s crit on these. So 2 bunks. The 6 though. So we got to see where that goes as far as the systems hit. So that's an 8, which would be the crew area. And again, reading the way that devastating works, which is just nasty, So any critical hit scored will have a critical score set to the roll of a d6. So we're actually going to roll a d6. However, if the location already has a crit score that is higher than the dice roll, the new crit hit is ignored. So basically, instead of working your way up the crit chart in a given area, you essentially just, whatever you roll, that's where you start at, which is, again, pun intended, devastating. That's a 3 on crew. So we've already caused multiple fires. Again, and if this were a real game with damage control and all that, that is crucial. But that's 2 damage from the extra fires, or multiple fires. So, boom. And then the weapons area increases by 1 as well, which is another damage. And then if we were really worried about the Bismarck retaliating, there's a chance for the lighter weapon systems to take some damage off this. We're not ignoring that. This is a very much hypothetical scenario, as we've mentioned. So, not terrible. 37 damage off of that. And again, in a full game, multiple fires going, very nasty, right? Now, it's slow loading, so it's going to skip a turn. We're going to fire its buddy here, though. 2, 3, 4. And that's just what, like one of these little 50-point subs could get up to. Now, if that was anything that's not a battleship, like a lighter cruiser or something like that, it'd probably be overkill on a frigate or something like that, right? Or not frigate, but what are we talking about? Destroyer. Again, just about one-shotting everything that's lighter than that. But things that are in the mid-range here, like the heavy type of cruisers, the light battleships or battle cruisers, they're hurting right there. So they're definitely more vulnerable from just other random hits from other things in the battlefield. Anyway, enough talking. Sub 2. Also very impressive. 3 hits. Damage dice. And again, it's just actually what we roll, which is bonkers for these torps. So, and 5s and 6s, crit. So, let's just kind of organize it into numbers here. So apparently this is, again, what we're doing, regardless of armor. So 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 and 12, so 23. 33, 34 more damage. So, down to 31. And then 2 crit chances. 1 more chance for a crit. We're going to see where it goes. That is in the weapons area. And here we roll a d6. And again, just to double check without making a mistake on this, always double check your rules. However, if the location already has a crit score that is higher than the dice roll, the new hit is ignored. Now it was just at a 1, so unlikely that that's going to be the case. We rolled a 4, so that is going to move all the way up to turret destroyed. Now, I don't know if I'll have to double check on this, but I don't know if we just set it to 4 and turret is destroyed, or if we treat the 2 intervening steps as well. So let's double check here as far as the way it's written out in the critical hit section. Every time a critical area's score increases, immediately apply the extra damage and the associated penalty. Yeah, but it's cumulative. We know that. Some critical hit penalties increase the score of other areas. We know that. Escalation. Let's see here. Well, if we treat it as the typical escalation of things moving up, that would be 2, 3, 5 more damage. I don't know if it really goes like this. It kind of would make sense because things are just going to hell in every which direction. And then another d6 because a turret is destroyed, so d6 more damage, 5 more damage. And at this point, really, the Bismarck has been crippled, right? Which is always something we're looking for. But then a random turret destroyed, so again, we're going to go 1, 2, or front to back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a reroll. So last turret would be destroyed, so the Y turret is just gone. So kaboom. And if we're following the damage up from the other areas, crew goes up by 1 from that. So 3 more damage, down to 18. Okay, and yeah. So yeah, that looks like essentially the rest of it then. So from there, so we're not even going to bother with the second, turn. Again, they'd have to skip a turn to reload and then fire again. Presumably, whatever's left or other elements of the fleet, could take up the subs. But just as an example, right? So what I would consider just average roll there. We took the Bismarck from clean down to 18. Multiple crits. It's in a bad way. It's lost a turret. It's crippled as far as game status and stuff goes. So we have that there. So one other thing to look up though, I did miss that just for purposes of the video. Again, we're keeping some of the special rules out here, but let's double check something. So the Bismarck does have torpedo belt though. Okay, so we'd actually have a lot more health left if we were just full on treating it like the actual Bismarck. So torpedo belt 3 would just subtract 3 from all the damage rolls that were caused. So we'd have a good chunk of health left, probably more in the 50s, 60s. But nonetheless, criticals would still have happened. So regardless, we're still in a good way. So again, think of that more just as a generic damage potential example there, not so much this is the Bismarck as far as Bismarck goes. So nonetheless, a lot of damage potential there. Now, certainly the Bismarck would have negated a lot of that, but nonetheless, you can see what some of these subs would get up to. So we'll come back with a couple more examples down the road of, again, subs versus other types of targets. Ideally some just generic ones. That was kind of just the main purpose here, but just so you guys get an idea of that. So, but yeah, so certainly something to, if you've positioned things carefully in the game, certainly they can be great finishers for damaged ships that are out there, or, if you're just intent on hurting or otherwise messing up an opponent's crucial ship in their battle fleet. That's something to look at too. And then, really, given that they